Welcome to episode 109 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Tuesday's episode. We're doing it again, people. It's Tuesday's episode, but it is Friday. Friday, the 23rd of May, 2020. And we're running late because the weather's lovely, people. I've got no other excuse for it. It has been glorious out there today and the whole of this week, to be honest. I've been sitting out in the sun reading books that I did in uni. Holy shit. And reading other stories. I'm currently topping up and reading Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. If you don't know that, if you've seen Apocalypse Now, it's basically the same fucking story. Just updated for Vietnam and less gooks out there. Gooks, are we allowed to call them that? Less looking for Charlie, and but it's pretty much exactly the same story. It's a fucking great read, and the other stories in that book as well. So, yeah, I'm doing it, people. I'm out there educating myself. Well, you know, to a certain degree. I'm sitting in the sun, drinking a smoothie. You know, trying to not make eye contact with people walking by who still... What is it with people? I don't know. You don't realise until you sit outside how many people play loud music in their car and how shit that fucking music is. It's just... That is not... Even if you're not in the car, this is the rule with that sort of thing. If you're not in the car listening to that music, you hate that fucking music. That is the rules, people. That is the rules. Yeah, no one's ever playing Oasis or anything like that at fucking full volume. It's always fucking either house or garage music or whatever it is these days. Grime. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, genuinely getting pissed off with people fucking driving by all the time in the car. Hey, listen to my music. My music's the best. No, keep it to an acceptable level as you're driving by past me. Just sitting there reading a book and somebody pulls up, leaves the engine running in their car, and then disappears for fucking 10 minutes into somebody's house with the fucking music blaring out. I seriously was considering stealing the car and just ploughing it into the fucking local river. They'd still be able to find it. You'd still be able to hear that fucking music under the fucking water. I don't know. Apart from that, I've been trying to chill out a little bit. Working on my tan, people, as I'm sitting outside. Hat on, obviously, because my fucking head is gradually receding as every fucking haircut seems to reveal more and more fucking head skin. It's only a matter of time. We're fighting a losing battle here, people. I don't know. Yeah, it's Friday night, people. I've been out for a little walk, a little wander with a mate and his family tonight. 2 meters distance, people. Got to keep that 2 meters distance still. Everything is loosening up a little bit. So there's more and more people about on their fucking bikes. I even looked for a bike online the other day. I thought, right, that's it. It's summertime. It's time to get out there. Everybody else is cycling. Let's get a bike. Let's go out there. You know, like just a mountain bike. That's all I want. I thought I'll go online, see if I can get a mountain bike. Sold out everywhere. Everywhere's sold out with a decent mountain bike. You can get a shit one, but what's the point in paying like 150 quid for a bike that's going to fucking fuck up in about 6 months? So all the decent bikes, it's like fucking bike dust. That's what they, you know, looking for a bike is like fucking gold dust. They're going to change that to bike dust. You can't get a bike for love nor money. The whole nation of the UK is fucking out there cycling. All of a sudden, we've turned into Amsterdam over here, where everybody's felt the need to cycle everywhere all of a sudden. Just because as soon as the weather changes, as soon as it starts pissing it down, that's when all the bikes will become available. People just enjoying that breeze on their legs as they're cycling by with the little baskets on the front or whatever. I don't know. I never understood that. Like in Cambridge, when you go to Cambridge and you gig in Cambridge, it's a fucking nightmare because you have to fucking look out everywhere for bikes coming up your ass, bikes going over the top of you. It's a cycle city. And they're not even decent bikes. They're those shitty little fucking, you know, like old 1940s with the handlebars round like that. And they all cycle along just off to the library to get some books and study up. Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah, so you can't get a bike for love nor money around here. So I thought about going for a few runs and that, like to try and work this off a little bit, this belly off. But, you know, it's a lot of work, people, isn't it? You know, pounding the pavement, you get halfway. You know, you start. That's the thing about running. You start off and you're energetic. And yeah, and you think, oh, this is all right. I still feel like an 18-year-old. And then you get just that distance away from your house, a far enough distance away from your house where you start going, oh, fucking hell, I'm dying. Then you hit the wall, and then you can't walk back, can you? Because all your neighbours will be looking out the window going, well, he went off with a little bit of a spring in his step, but look at him now, he's fucked. That's what you get for trying to exercise, bunny boy. Yeah, so, yeah. So I refuse to go running just because I don't think I'm going to make it off the estate, and that is a piss-poor, pathetic performance at running. But I went for a little walk tonight with my mate and his family down by the river, don't you know? And down by the river and that, it's fucking lovely. If you go a little bit further, there's like a country park bit near where I live, where there's like a fishing lake and a little island in the lake. You got fucking a little farm on the right-hand side, so you got all the sheep coming up at you, just looking over the fence like that. They've got a bit of a fucking attitude problem, sheep. They just fucking stare at you, and you start staring them out like that, and they just don't fucking blink. They just sit there, just fucking chewing, just looking at you like a fucking psychopath through a fucking bedroom window. But it was nice walking down there and catching up with my mate and his family. We had quite a good laugh, actually, just walking around and shit like that, and then got all the way. That's the worst thing about walking is if you can't do it in a loop. You know, like if you have to go back the same way you came. You know, you can't walk round. We went too far. We should have gone right, and that would have taken us round the loop, but we went up. We got to a dead end. You couldn't go any further. The next bit was going to be the next village over, which nobody wants to go there. It'd be a nice little walk if the pubs were open. That's the only thing. Have a nice little walk there down by the river. Have a little walk back after a few beers. It'd be fucking gorgeous, but nothing's open still. So, let's have a little bit of tea. Yeah, so nothing's still open at the minute. So that, we had to, forsake that idea. It would have been lovely, though. It was a nice summer breeze down by the river. The sun was just setting. It was hitting the water and shit. There's fucking little log bridges going over, little wooden bridges. You go through little, you know, foresty areas, and then come out by the river. Then you got the canal and the fucking, oh, man. It got that fucking British spirit up in me. I tell you, I ain't going to lie to you. It was lovely. But that was that. That's pretty much what I've been up to, like lazing around in the afternoon after fucking around and working in the morning. So still doing the day job. And getting the money in, but like it's been pretty chilled out here. Everything's easing up a little bit. You can see the roads getting a little bit busier. People sort of like, you know, not really observing the 2 meters in the supermarkets and shit like that. I had to queue up to get some stuff from the pharmacy the other day, and that was I get there early, man. I get there fucking early. I don't think it opened till like 9 o'clock. or whatever. So I got there at 8:30, and you see all of everyone, the lurkers, don't you, in their car? Who's going to be the first one to get out of the car? And I was just like, fucking hell, it don't open till half an hour. If I hit the back of the queue, like, I've still got to wait another fucking 20 minutes or whatever after that, because they're letting in 2 people at a time or whatever, just in case we're infected. Everybody looking at each other fucking suspiciously these days. Like that, innit? It's not a good time to be a smoker these days if you've got that little trying to clear your throat with a little cough and everybody fucking freaks out around you. He's got it. He's fucking got it. Yeah, so queuing up there at the pharmacy, and I was the first one to break it. I pulled up straight away. I saw people hanging around in their cars just waiting and shit like that, waiting to see who would be the first, and it was me. Straight out of the car, straight down there, and as soon as I started queuing, everybody else started queuing as well. I'm a leader of men, people. What can I say? Or women as well, as the person behind me was. But everybody, I could tell everybody fucking hated it because I made them start queuing then. That was it. They thought they'd lose their little place. They're all holding out, backing off, thinking, we can leave this till about 10-2 and have a nice, relaxed sort of like time sitting in their car. Not when Briggs turns up, people. I'm straight at the front of the queue, in and out. I had to wait half an hour. I was in and out in 2 minutes. I'm fucking gone, and they're still queuing. See you later, suckers. I don't know. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus. Let's have a little little bit more tea. Fucking hell, my throat's a bit sore today. I don't know why that is. Anyway, to get on with the podcast, 11 minutes in already, and we've talked about fuck all. We have questions, people. Now, comedy aficionado, stroke reviewer, fuck knows what he's doing these days, Peter Fox. Maybe he may be just posting off questions to podcast. This could be his new thing. Who knows? From the Knots Comedy Review website, you'll know him if you see him. He's dressed a little. He usually dresses a little bit like a Gestapo agent. He's got a pen and paper in his hand. But he has sent in some questions for the podcast, people. So, so we'll get on with those. Question for the podcast. Any opinions on ghosts, UFOs, and Bigfoot? I don't fuck knows where this question has come from, Peter Fox. I don't know. It's somebody has been at home watching too many documentaries or on the internet, and he's disappeared down a little foxhole there. There's the pun for you, Peter. He's disappeared down a little foxhole and he's come out with ghosts, UFOs, and Bigfoot. To be honest with you, I'm not really. I'll watch shit like that. I'll watch documentaries about that. Let's take one at a time, shall we? Bigfoot, I watched a fucking a few documentaries on Bigfoot and that sort of thing. I don't, it's a guy in a furry suit, isn't it? Like, I think it was pretty much, that whole lolloping, grainy fucking footage that's like, and then it just, why didn't the guy follow him into the woods? He's got a fucking camera, I know it just lollops along, doesn't it? It looks very much like a bloke in a furry suit. So I assume it's just a bloke in a furry suit. Wasn't it proved that it was a bloke in a furry suit and it was all a hoax? I don't know. I've watched a few documentaries about it. Everyone who seems to look for either Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster doesn't come across as a particularly sane person on camera. I understand the irony of me saying that, videoing this, but they just seem like mental cases who just live in the woods and get a bit lonely and then just get their friend to dress up in a furry suit or something, or just say, here's a fucking footprint like that. But that seems like about a size 9. What shoe size are you? Oh, I'm a size 8.5. I don't know. all of those things. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? I imagine it's based in some sort of reality years ago. Most myths and fucking shit like that aren't they? But that probably goes through, some sort of, I don't know, stay out of the woods, or somebody telling their fucking kids years ago, stay out of the woods or the fucking Bigfoot will get you. What's the Bigfoot? Oh, it's a big fucking hairy thing and it'll rip your fucking little child throat out. So just, parents do those sort of things to, like, fucking control their kids, don't they? It just seems like a way of controlling kids, the Bigfoot myth. Don't go out there, the bad thing will get you. What's the bad thing? It's got big feet. We'll call it Bigfoot. Yeah. Or Sasquatch or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't believe those for a minute, mate. To be honest, I have no, I think it's about as realistic as the film Bigfoot and the Hendersons. There's a flashback to the 80s. Yeah, it's about as fucking real as that shit, I think. If you want to see Bigfoot, watch fucking Star Wars. Chewbacca's in most of the fuckers, isn't he? Just watch that. I don't know. It's all people who live in the woods, miles away from civilization, who talk like they've had a fucking brain injury, or at least, got a few fucking neural paths that are fucking, way off schedule. And I don't know. I don't believe the Bigfoot myths. Ghosts, I don't know. Really, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I'm going to need some more tea before I start the ghost one. I like the idea of ghosts. The older I get, I like the idea. I more and more like the idea of ghosts. People who have pissed me off in life, and I just come back and fucking move their books around. De-alphabetize their fucking DVD collection. I don't know. They never really do anything, ghosts, do they? That's the thing. They just sort of like turn up, hover around a bit. They never sort of like, wake you up in the middle of the night, like go, hi, you're right, I've been dead for a while and shit. I just wanted somebody to talk to and stuff. Aren't you meant to be just, floating down a corridor or like hanging around at the end of my bed late at night when I'm fucking tired? That's odd. I don't know. I don't really believe in ghosts, to be honest. I'd like to. I like the idea that we don't just fucking die and there's nothingness. But I think part of that, the whole ghost myth, is to, try and project the fact that, project the idea that there's some sort of afterlife and, to put us off the idea that dying is just a final fucking thing and nothing happens afterwards. So we don't all, it's pretty much so we don't all freak out running around going, God, it's the end. This is the end. There's nothing. Pretty much like religion a little bit, isn't it? It's all tied in with that, isn't it? All of those things, just so we don't fucking freak out thinking, oh, God, who gives a fuck? There's no fucking afterlife. I'll just do whatever the fuck I want and start robbing people and shit, killing our enemies. I don't know. We kind of do that anyway, don't we, in a militaristic way. But yeah, I'd like, and then you meet people. This is how I react to people. I react to people who have a ghost story, because there's the people out there who always have a ghost story. Oh, I believe in ghosts. I had this weird experience one night. I was laying in the bath and a ghost came in and stuck his finger at my ass and woo! Apparently, it was the ghost of a fucking 18th century paedophile who was hung. And he just hangs around fingering people's asses. I don't know. It's never that, is it? It's always, I went to a school that apparently had a ghost, and I had, because there was loud banging noises at night. People went to ghost first rather than, let's probably service the central heating system. I don't know. But yeah, I handle people with the ghost story exactly the same way as people who tell me what dream they had last night. As both of them are just irrelevant, made-up shit. I resent that massively. And you have to, because you have to sort of like show an interest, don't you? And you just find yourself going, oh, wow, yeah, that's really interesting. Oh, God, that's fascinating. Really? I don't know, people. I don't really believe in ghosts. I'd have to see it, you know what I mean? I'd have to experience it myself. I'm one of those sort of people. I don't just, fucking fuck around with other people's fucking hearsay and shit like that. I'd have to, just sit down and have a chat with me. What, you died in 19th century? What was that like? Was it all right? No, stop disappearing through a wall, just looking, disappearing on a wall and saying nothing. Is that the best you've got? Is that the best you've got in the afterlife? That would be my question to them. If ghosts existed, is that the best you've fucking got? Just to hover around and disappear through a wall. That's why you're stuck in like a purgatory sort of like state, is it, to do that? Is it? You got murdered or something like that, and then you just sort of like freak people out in the future. You've become the person who did that fucking murder to you, hanging around fucking scaring people. I don't know. I don't know, people. But that's it, isn't it? That's all they seem to do. Oh, it's knocked a lamp off the... Was it worth it, floating around, living in a house for like 200 years and just hanging around, putting off like death and whatever, heaven or afterlife or whatever? Was it really worth it to knock a vase off the fucking shelf? Really? I mean, come on. It's better use of your haunting time, surely. You could at least, sit down, try and understand modern society, teach people about the old society where you come from. Maybe try and, pin whatever fucking horrible crime happened to you, try and solve that, Even Patrick Swayze did that in Ghost, didn't he? That's not a realistic film whatsoever, is it? If it was if Ghost was a realistic film, all it'd be is like footsteps in a corridor for like fucking 2 hours, and then the odd thing being knocked off onto the floor. That'd be it, wouldn't it? He wouldn't be able to solve his own murder or anything like that. It just, just floating around, seeing Demi Moore get into a new relationship, but she's got fucking issues now because her ex-boyfriend was fucking killed. So now the new boyfriend's got to deal with all of that shit of Patrick Swayze's murder that he had nothing to do with. But if he wants to be with Demi Moore, he's got to deal with that shit and like sit there and go, oh God, every fucking birthday, every fucking Christmas, she's in tears because her ex-boyfriend got fucking murdered, and the new boyfriend's just got to sit there and take it because he's banging Demi Moore. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with all this, people. That's Ghosts anyway. So we've covered Bigfoot. We've covered ghosts. What else was the question? UFOs. Here we go. I'm going to need more tea for this. Oh, dear. 23 minutes, people, we're on. And we've talked about Bigfoot, ghosts, and UFOs. UFOs, unidentified flying objects, to give them their correct name. I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're thinking, I'm sure there's millions and millions of unidentified flying objects out there, isn't there? I imagine you mean aliens visiting us from outer space. I heard an interesting theory. I don't know. You see, I'll debunk like Bigfoot and ghosts and say that's a load of shit. But when it comes to UFOs, people, this is a different fucking kettle of fish. I'd like to think there's aliens out there. You know what I mean? I'd like to think they're exciting and interesting. But, if it's aliens coming here, they're going to be like, they're not going to be the cool aliens, are they? They're going to be the geeky, scientific, you know, those sort of aliens coming here, taking soil samples and shit like that, aren't they? Nobody ever says that, do they? Like, it's not going to be like cool aliens coming here or anything like that. It's going to be like the fucking little geeky, everything by the book. Check ignition again, and blast off. You know, it's all that shit, isn't it? I imagine there's some sort of life form out there apart from the life forms that are on this planet here. Whether they have the new technology, the technological ability to fucking fly light years into space and then come across our planet and then just, again, like the ghost thing, they just seem to sort of like fly through the sky a bit, don't they? They never sort of like land in a populated area, get out, and then go, well, we're here. You know, it's always in some sort of like a lot of shit. You know, it's always to slag off our American listeners. you know, you have mental people out there in America. Yeah, it's always somewhere in the backwoods or somewhere. It's the E.T. thing, isn't it? It lands in the backwoods. It goes. It makes a little mate with somebody, you know, or beams somebody up. They seem very interested in anally probing people, don't they? Everybody who goes, like, gets sucked up into a fucking U.F.O., which are always a disc shape, aren't they? Loads of fucking lights, you know, a ladder pops down. Why a ladder? Or beamed up or something like that, aren't they? And the next minute, you know, what are they, just like, you know, intergalactic sex offenders going around? Is that it? Just like poking, you know, people's assholes. You know, you know, they don't even do that at the doctors. You know, even for this COVID-19, they're not swabbing your asshole, are they? They're just swabbing your mouth, getting your DNA. That's how they get your DNA. That's how they're swabbing for COVID-19, isn't it? You know, I don't know what aliens' preoccupation with our anuses, but there seems to be one. Everybody gets a fucking anal probing every time they get zoomed up. I don't know. I'd like to think that. I'd like to think that there's conspiracies and Area 51 and all of that sort of shit. But it just seems like there's too many people within that project or within that area, working with that area to keep it a secret. We all know what it's like working with people, don't you? If you've got a secret or something like that, you tell somebody and then they'll tell somebody, but tell that person not to tell anyone. And they'll just like say, well, he told me not to tell anyone, but he told me in the first place, so I'm okay. And then it spreads like fucking wildfire, baby. I don't know. There's too many stuff. You know, there's too many people involved in all of that to keep it a massive, massive secret over so many fucking years as well. I like the idea of there being UFOs and aliens and shit like that. But you'd get pissed off with them in the end, wouldn't you? You know, that's the thing, isn't it? The way human beings are. We're bad enough, aren't we? We're bad enough with anything that's fucking different. Within ourselves, aren't we? With regards to colour, race, sexuality, gender. It's always the other, isn't it? So imagine a fucking, you know, an alien coming down that's totally fucking different from the rest of us. It'll be like that. What's that fucking film? District fucking 9, is it? Something like that, isn't it? Bit more tea there. District 9, where we all herd them into a fucking, like, pen, like their own fucking city or whatever, innit? And then they start getting pissed off and kill us all. We wouldn't be interested in them unless they were intelligent. And if they were, we'd start getting pissed off with them. And then we wouldn't be interested in them unless we could eat them fuck them or, like, steal all their shit. That's basically it, isn't it? Those three things. If they taste nice, they fuck well, or they've got good ideas that we can fucking rip off. That's the only way. And if they taste well, that we just start farming them like we do with cows. And if they fuck well, they'll just be like brothels everywhere, just fucking aliens on street corners with about 8 tentacles, just like, you know, wanking off about 6 guys at once because he's taking the money with the other 2 tentacles. I don't know. And after we've nicked all of their ideas, we'll fucking, you know, ship them off somewhere, cut them up and have a look inside them. That's basically it, isn't it? And see if we can learn anything from their bodies that we can steal and fucking use for ourselves. Look at that. This is really sticky. This will be a nice industrial glue we can use. I don't know, people. So, in closing, I would, I don't know. I don't particularly believe in UFOs. I like watching the documentaries. If that's any sort of like any fail-safe there for the question, I enjoy watching documentaries about it. But I just find any of these things, like documentaries on ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, after a while, I find myself watching them going, oh, you are fucking mental. Oh, you're mental. Because they'll just say something where you go, oh, because it's like they're trying to hold it together all the time, aren't they? They're trying to hold it together and they're trying to come across as decent, but their own fucking mentalness often betrays them. And they just release something and you're like, oh, fucking hell, you're a mental case. Jesus, I've just wasted an hour and a half of my time watching this fucking lunatic essentially just like spouting like his own made up bullshit into a camera. The irony of that. I don't know. So I don't really believe any of them, but I enjoy the myths and the fucking, you know, the conspiracy theory side of things. I enjoy that. I enjoy watching not particularly clinically advised people or talking about subjects that they're passionate about, but they're clearly mental. Yeah, I enjoy all of that. I enjoy the entertainment within those theories. Definitely. I think that's it. And if it did happen, I'd tell you what, here's my hypocrisy. If they did exist, I'd be the first one to go, well, of course they exist. There's fucking shitloads of documentaries about them. That's where my hypocrisy goes, people. What are we on? We're on 33 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ. That is episode 109 of the Ben Briggs podcast. If you want to ask me any questions, the email address is just podcast@benbriggs.co.uk. I shall be back. What is it? Friday. I'll be back fucking Sunday, Monday to do Saturday's episode. Have a good week. And, well, have a good rest of your Friday until then, motherfuckers. And I will be back with episode 110 on Sunday/Monday. Take care.